These are 7 of the best tablets for college students in 2026. We will start with the cheapest tablet and go all the way up to the most expensive one. And we will only cover the stuff that actually matters if you are a student. The display, the note-taking experience, and also the major cons of each and every tablet we're gonna feature today. So I'm Prithviraj and let me help you find the most ideal tablet for you. Alright, one thing I have to mention before we start, I will be leaving the links of all the full review videos of all the tablets mentioned today. So you can check out the description in case you wanted more details about any specific tablet. Now starting with the absolute bottom of the budget, the Lenovo Idea Tab is one of the cheapest tablets you can buy. And the best part, it comes with the stylus out of the box. But the display is honestly the biggest reason to consider this thing. For this price, we are getting an 11-inch LCD display, 2.5K resolution along with a refresh rate of 90Hz. And the 90Hz display actually matters as we get a 60Hz display even with the iPad Air, which we will discuss a bit later. So a big shout out to Lenovo for including a 90Hz display even at this price point. It also has a 16:10 aspect ratio, which gives you more vertical space when you're reading long PDFs or maybe you're going through lecture slides. The brightness peaks at 500 nits. It's decently bright for indoor usage, you won't be facing any issues. But the note-taking experience is where the things get interesting. You get the Lenovo Tab Pen right in the box, which is huge because the price of the Apple Pencil Pro alone is very similar to the entire tablet itself. But one downside of the stylus is that it runs on a AAA battery and not a rechargeable one, so you will have to change batteries when it dies. Mine lasted over a week with regular usage, though it's not really a big deal, but that's just something you should keep in mind. The writing experience itself feels slightly plasticky, not the smoothest of course, but for taking class notes and PDF annotations it will just work out fine. Nebo comes pre-installed and the handwriting to text convert on Nebo is one of the best you will find on any tablet. And I need to mention one more thing, the note-taking app you choose to take notes is more important than the tablet itself, as that is what changes the entire experience. We will discuss that at the very end of the video. Now let's talk about the major cons of this tablet, and the main issue is the software. It's literally very laggy. Lenovo's Android skin called ZUI stutters a lot on this one. Animations will drop frames, and even something simple like rotating the screen takes a bit of time before it actually happens. Software updates are very limited. You'll get around 2 major Android updates and a few security patches, that's it. And the chipset isn't powerful enough, hence it will struggle once your notebooks get heavy, like hundreds of pages inside your PDFs or maybe your handwritten notes. So if you take notes casually, it's totally usable, but for serious note takers, you will feel the limits within one semester. But the thing is, if you have a very tight budget, then this one makes the most sense, to be honest. Here is a screenshot of the current pricing of the Lenovo Idea Tab, but if you have a slightly higher budget, then you should check out its older sibling. Next, we have the Motorola Moto Pad 60 Pro or the Lenovo Idea Tab Pro. Combining these two because they're literally the same tablet, just under a different branding. There is also a Lenovo Idea Tab Pro Gen 2, but we won't be talking about that today as the price difference is actually huge and we have better options at that price point, so we won't be mentioning that today. This is a far better option. But if you need a large screen tablet for taking notes, then this is the most ideal one for you. It features a massive 12.7-inch display with a refresh rate of 144Hz and almost 3K resolution. The 144Hz display keeps everything smooth. It feels even smoother than tablets twice its price. So reading your textbooks and going through PDFs and watching content between study sessions, all of that will look great. The size advantage matters as you actually get a notebook size canvas to write on. A big asterisk though, the brightness peaks at only 500 nits. That is the lowest on today's list. In a dim room or at night it's totally fine, but in a somewhat bright room you can definitely notice the dimness. So a great display is held back by 1 weak spec. The stylus comes in the box as well. And to my surprise, the writing experience on this one is genuinely great. The strokes feel natural, palm rejection is solid, and no latency issues. And just like the Lenovo Idea Tab, Nebo comes pre-installed on this device, and that's a great combo for taking class notes. The pen has a button that doubles as a camera shutter remote, which is a nice bonus. And one small thing, the stylus charges via the USB Type-C port. It attaches magnetically but doesn't charge as magnetically, which is still better than having to change AAA batteries, to be very honest. Now speaking of the cons, again the software updates are pretty limited. It also runs the ZUI software as the regular Idea Tab. It works fine, but it's not as polished as the other options we will discuss today. The dim display will of course frustrate you in bright environments, like I mentioned. Here is a screenshot of the current price of the Lenovo Idea Tab Pro or the Moto Pad 60 Pro. But if you want the safest bet, then hit that subscribe button. I have a lot of videos lined up that will help you make the most out of your tablet, so stay tuned for that. The safest bet is the OnePlus Pad Go 2. This one genuinely surprised me. I wasn't expecting this much from a tablet at this price. The display is quite large as well, 12.1 inch with a refresh rate of 120Hz and 900 nits of brightness. 900 nits on a budget tablet is really rare and it stays perfectly readable. The 120Hz keeps everything smooth and Dolby Vision support means Netflix looks actually great. But there is something you should keep in mind. The aspect ratio is 7:5. For tablet stuff like multitasking, reading PDFs in portrait, the ratio is actually amazing, so the reading experience is great on this tablet. But when you watch widescreen YouTube videos or movies on Netflix, you will get thicker black bars on the top and at the bottom, so the video will feel smaller than it should on a 12-inch tablet. So if your tablet life is mostly watching Netflix, this might bug you a bit. But since this is a student's video, for studying you will love the extra vertical space, and for taking notes we have got the OnePlus Stylo Go 2. It is sold separately, but keep an eye on the offers on the OnePlus website as they often include the stylus for free. I purchased my one during the pre-sale, hence I got the stylus for absolutely free. The writing experience is quite nice, palm rejection works well, and the pressure sensitivity has improved a lot over the previous generation. But being very honest, this is still not at the S Pen level. There's slightly more latency and the feel isn't as natural as I wanted it to be. For lecture notes and marking of PDFs, it's totally usable, but in case you wanted to do some digital art, then for that aspect this is not the best option out there. And one annoying thing, the stylus doesn't attach magnetically to the tablet at all, so you'll have to buy their case with a stylus cutout to keep it secure. Major cons of this: no anti-glare coating, so reflections can be a bit rough in bright rooms, and the auto brightness is just bad, so I simply turned it off and went all manual on it. Software wise though, Oxygen OS is one of the cleanest budget tablet experiences out there, almost zero bloatware, which is rare at this price. So if you'd like the best software experience at a budget, then this is the one you should consider. Here is a screenshot of the current price of the OnePlus Pad Go 2. But before we check out the next tablet, I want to share something that completely changed how I actually use my tablet. If you are a student, then this can be really useful, as the tablet is just the hardware. What actually makes you productive is the system that you run on top of that. I've been using my daily planner template where I plan everything I need to get done on that specific day. So if you are a student, then you can use this one to time block your day. Let me show you how it looks. Let's say you want to study chemistry from 3 PM to 4 PM, so you can mark that out, after which you want to take a break and play games for like 30 minutes, and then maybe practice your math problems from 4:30 PM to 7 PM and stay accountable to your goals. I built this myself because I was tired of opening my tablet just to doom scroll instead of actually getting work done. Try this out for yourself. I'll be leaving its link in the description box below the like button. It will work on every single tablet I'm covering today. Simply import the PDF into your favorite notes app and you are done. The Samsung Galaxy Tab S10 Lite. The Galaxy Tab S9 FE was one of the best options for students last year. But now in 2026, this tablet offers solid value. We get the S Pen in the box, and Samsung has promised 7 years of software updates and also comes with expandable storage. The Tab S10 Lite features a 10.9-inch display with a refresh rate of 90Hz and 600 nits of brightness. The note-taking experience though, you get the S Pen out of the box, zero extra cost, and it's also battery free, so you will never have to charge it. Just grab it and start writing. The accuracy and the precision of the S Pen is simply unmatched compared to other tablets at this price, and you also get access to Samsung Notes. It's one of the best free note-taking apps you can ever find. Handwritten notes, typed notes, PDF import, all of that completely for free. The writing feels smooth, latency is minimal, and the 90Hz display keeps your strokes responsive. For a student who just wants to take lecture notes or annotate PDFs, this might be the best value on the entire list. The S Pen attaches magnetically to the side of the tablet, so you won't lose that. The cons of this one, however, no Samsung Desk support, which is a big miss because Desk was one of the biggest selling points of Samsung tablets. If you don't know what that is, Desk mode basically converts your tablet into a PC style interface. So if you were planning to pair this up with a keyboard and use it like a mini laptop, that workflow doesn't exist on this one. It has something called Desk mode, but it's not the full Samsung Desk experience. But the major downside is that you don't get the charger out of the box. You just get the cable. Why you do this, Samsung? You do get the S Pen though, and that's one of the best stylus you can get for free. Here is a screenshot of the current price of the Samsung Galaxy Tab S10 Lite. However, if you can still get the Galaxy Tab S9 FE Plus at a discount, then you can rather choose that as well. That will give you access to the full Samsung Desk mode. Xiaomi Pad 8. This tablet genuinely competes with options twice its price. The display is excellent. It features an 11.2-inch display, 144Hz refresh rate, 800 nits of brightness, HDR10, and Dolby Vision support. Colors actually pop, text is sharp, and is quite bright for every environment. And there is also a variant most people don't really talk much about. You can get the matte nano texture display version, which cuts down reflection and adds a slight paper-like grip when you're writing with the stylus. So if you're serious about taking notes, that variant is worth checking out. For note-taking, the Xiaomi Focus Pen Pro is the headliner. It's sold separately, so factor that inside your budget. But what you get is actually impressive. It connects magnetically to the tablet and also charges wirelessly when attached. It has a haptic motor built in. The latency is low, pressure sensitivity is accurate, and the palm rejection is spot on. One thing though, the default Xiaomi Notes app is really bad. Use Notewise Nebo Star Note instead. That will massively improve your writing experience. But all in all, the overall experience on this tablet is ideal for taking your class notes, and it has one of the best displays on all the tablets we're gonna discuss today. The cons, however, Xiaomi's Android skin, which is HyperOS, isn't the cleanest software experience you can get. It has a quite lot of bloatware, which is annoying at this price. But speaking of the price, in terms of raw performance, this is one of the best options out there. So in case you would like to play games or edit videos on your tablet, then this is the best option out there. Here is a screenshot of the current price of the Xiaomi Pad 8. Now we have discussed a lot about Android tablets. Let's have a look at the iPad lineup now. Let's start with the base iPad, the iPad A16, which is also known as the iPad 11 Gen. It features an 11-inch display, 500 nits of brightness, but sadly it features a display refresh rate of 60Hz only. Just sit with that 60Hz for a second. Every single Android tablet we have covered so far, even the cheapest one, has at least 90Hz. Apple is charging premium money for a refresh rate Android tablet stopped using years ago. But the display itself is sharp, colors are vibrant, and you will have zero issues watching content on it. But the bigger problem is that the display is also not laminated. There is a visible gap between the glass and the actual screen panel underneath. For watching content, you will never notice that, but for taking notes with the Apple Pencil, you will see a slight parallax effect where the tip of the pencil and the digital line doesn't perfectly align. For casual notes, it's manageable, but for digital art, where every millimeter counts, it can get quite frustrating. The iPad 11 only supports the Apple Pencil 1st Gen or the USB Type-C Apple Pencil, but I'll recommend that you simply get the Type-C Apple Pencil because that 1st Gen lightning gap in 2026 is just annoying. You will most likely lose that tiny gap within a month. But once you actually start writing, the experience is great. Palm rejection is flawless, latency is minimal, and this is where the iPad has a real advantage over every Android tablet on the list. And that's the app ecosystem. GoodNotes 6, Notability, Apple Notes, all properly polished and way more refined than what you get on Android. GoodNotes is there on Android as well, but I previously made a video on how bad the Android version is when compared to the iPad counterpart. And even Team GoodNotes commented on that video of mine, where they mentioned that they are currently working on a new version, but currently it sucks. Rather, for digital art, Procreate is one of the best apps out there, and it's iPad only. For students who want a serious note-taking workflow with searchable handwritten notes synced across all your Apple devices, this is hard to beat. And after the iPadOS 26 update, we now have a very similar multitasking experience like on MacBooks, with a menu bar and proper floating windows, which is at a league of its own. Now the major cons of this one, the 60Hz refresh rate is the biggest knock at this price. The non-laminated display means parallax for digital art, no Apple Pencil Pro support. And of course the Apple Pencil is sold separately, so factor that price as well. Here is a screenshot of the current price of the iPad A16. But if you want the best writing experience, then the Apple Pencil Pro offers the best stylus experience out there. Top of the list, and this is the laptop replacement tire. It comes with the M4 chipset, which Apple features on their MacBook Air and MacBook Pro lineup as well. So in terms of raw performance, this one crushes all the other tablets mentioned, and it is the best option out there. I can literally edit a full 4K video of mine on this tablet. It's that powerful. It features an 11-inch liquid retina display. It's quite sharp and bright and completely usable for everything. But again, even at this price, it still comes with a refresh rate of 60Hz. Apple keeps the 120Hz ProMotion display only for the iPad Pro, which is annoying. Even budget Android tablets are giving you 140Hz. If you have never used a high refresh rate tablet, you won't really miss that. But if you have, that's the first thing you're gonna notice when you pick it up. The display, however, really feels amazing and it's color accurate. So if you wanted to edit photos on Lightroom perhaps, apps, it will give you true to life colors. And also the iPad Air M4 supports the Apple Pencil Pro. The same Apple Pencil Pro that works with the iPad Pro. The writing experience is incredible. Handwriting feels natural. Pressure sensitivity is precise. Palm rejection is perfect. And combined with good notes or notability, you will get the smoothest and the best digital note-taking experience available on any tablet. The Apple Pencil Pro with the Apple ecosystem, that combination is simply unmatched. For digital artists and for students who want the best experience, this is the move. Now the major cons. The 60Hz refresh rate again, especially very painful at this price. The accessories will burn your wallet. And if you want the best display, tandem OLED with a 120Hz ProMotion display, then you will of course have to take a look at the iPad Pro. But if you can live with a 60Hz display, the iPad Air will give you the same performance as the iPad Pro, same as the MacBooks rather. And the stylus experience with the Apple Pencil Pro is simply unmatched. Here is a screenshot of the current price of the iPad Air M4. Alright, 7 tablets covered. Let me summarize everything first before I share my personal recommendations. If you are on the absolute tightest of the budget, then the Lenovo Idea Tab gets you a stylus, a decent display, and all the basics right. Just go in knowing that the software experience will be really bad. If you can stretch your budget, the OnePlus Pad Go 2 provides shocking value, along with a very clean software experience, and everything feels more premium than it should. Just don't buy it expecting a cinematic Netflix experience because of that 7:5 aspect ratio. If you want the biggest possible display for the money, the Moto Pad 60 Pro or the Lenovo Idea Tab Pro gives you a 12.7-inch 144Hz display with the stylus out of the box. The brightness is a major trade-off of this device because it really feels dim. If you specifically want the best note-taking experience at a budget, then the Galaxy Tab S10 Lite with the S Pen is one of the best options out there. Plus, you get access to Samsung Notes for note-taking. And if you want flagship tire specs and an amazing display without paying Apple prices, the Xiaomi Pad 8 is the best Android tablet in this segment. Just factor in the price of the Focus Pen Pro on top of that. And now if you are locked into the Apple ecosystem and you want the most polished note-taking experience, the iPad 11 Gen is still the king. But if you want laptop level performance, best in class note-taking experience, and if your budget allows it, the iPad Air with the Apple Pencil Pro is simply unmatched. The accessories will hurt, but the experience justifies the price. But if you ask me, my honest pick for most students would be the OnePlus Pad Go 2. It is the best value for money option out there, specifically if you can get the stylus for free. If not, then in that case I will suggest the Galaxy Tab S10 Lite. You will love the S Pen of course. These two Android tablets I will recommend the most if you're on a budget specifically. But if you already own an iPhone, then the iPad 11 Gen of course makes the most sense even in 2026. Let me know in the comments which one is going inside your backpack this semester. But at the start, I mentioned that the note-taking app you are using plays a much more important role than the tablet itself. So it's very important that you pick the right app for yourself. If you need help in that, then click here on this video and over there I've shared the 10 best note-taking apps that you must try out. See you there.